So this week I had a client whose sewer line busted, and if you've ever seen this happen, it's one of the worst things that happen in real estate. And because they have to tear up the street, they have to tear up the yard, and it inconveniences everybody. But the government, the military came up with the new technology that they're using now in residential real estate. And what they've done in these old aircraft carriers, the pipes would go bad and get rusty, and they figured out if they put a new sleeve in there, they could make a pipe out of it and make it just as hard and even better. And so this week we're going to be watching this new technology, which I've never seen before. I'm excited to see how this goes.
Hi, I'm Jared Roberts, the plumbing manager at Hartman Plumbing Heating. We've been called out to this house because it was flooding. Sewer had backed up multiple times, root infiltration. So what we do is we come out, we clean the line, then we insert a camera into the line from the house to see what's going on. This typical area, houses are 35, 40 years old, so they're prone to have failure at the sewer lines. Basically, once we get the camera in there, we can see exactly what happened, what's going on, and hopefully we can cure the problem with inserting a fiberglass permaliner. Okay, so what we do after we've investigated and looked from the house with the camera, we dig a small hole in the front yard. Instead of digging up the entire yard and into the street, we dig a small hole in the front yard. Down to the line, we remove up to 8 feet of the existing clay or asbestos or whatever type of material pipe is in there that has failed. We dig about 8 feet of that out, and then the liner material comes almost like a tube sock feel, 3 millimeters thick. Comes inside out in the roll. Basically, we measure from our start point out to the city nose on or up to the foundation, depending on which way we're shooting. This house here, we've dug right in the middle, so we're shooting 2 directions. One back towards the house, one out towards the city main. Basically, once we get that cut, exact length, we pull this and we impregnate the resin, 2-part resin, into the liner, put it through a roller machine. It impregnates it evenly through the material, and then we roll it into the inverter, up the tube into the inverter. The inverter has a cone on it. Once you put 10 psi of air into the inverter, it takes this liner material, turns it inside out, or right side in the way it's supposed to be, and then after that's shot in, we put a calibration tube, fill the calibration tube with hot water, recirculate hot water through that line at 140 degrees for 1 hour, bakes the line in place, then we pull the calibration tube out, and you have a material that looks like this nice smooth waterproof wall on the inside. This is touching the old pipe that's on the outside. Basically, this is a piece of sewer pipe that we shot a liner into. You can see that it's very thin, 3 millimeter thickness. Doesn't take much restriction away from the pipe you already have. So it's a great material, good and solid. Once it's cured and baked in place, you can drive a semi-truck on this, and good solid material. All right, now what we've got is the liner is in place, the calibration tube is inside, it is full of hot water. Well, it's heating as we speak. As soon as that water becomes 140 degrees, which is being recirculated through the line, then we'll start the timer, bake it for 1 hour, again at 140 degrees. You can see in the background over there, we have our boiler. That's a diesel fire boiler. We recirculate the water through that, heats it up quite quickly. There's the hole. You can see the chute tube, everything's all down there in place. Basically right now what we do is wait for that water temp to come up. Our dump truck goes to get gravel so we can embed the repaired section that we put in here with the new clean out. We want to embed that with 12 inches of gravel underneath as well as 12 inches over. Keeps the pipe from moving, from bellying, gives it a good proper bedding and cover. Basically, the pipe that's in the ground is clay. It's terracotta, just like your flower pots. It's very brittle. After a few years of that being in there, it'll eventually move enough that it'll leak. Once you get a leak, the roots are attracted to moisture. Boom, they go after it. Once the roots lay alongside that pipe, they'll get their water and their fertilizer, and what happens, they grow, they bump the pipe out of the way, and then it leaks worse. That's the whole reason behind it is, instead of having a joint every 3 to 6 feet, what you do in the clay pipe, now once you have the liner in there, you have a solid pipe from where you start to where you end. Luckily, this family called us in distress. Their basement's flooding. It's been flooded before. They're tired of the mess. So we show up. We have a drain machine that goes out 100, 110 feet to clear the line. We get that done, and then we get a camera in there, and we can see, wow, this thing needs some work. It's in bad enough shape that if we don't do something soon, we're gonna have to excavate the entire line, and we don't wanna do that. We wanna get a liner in it before things get real expensive. Protect your investment and not have to dig up the street, not have to dig any further than the small hole.